Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, this one was a little bit later today because I got word last week, actually, that Comic-Con tickets were going on sale, and this is the pre-registration one, which, of course, always catches everyone off guard. And so I waited in a virtual line with everybody else for an hour this morning, actually 2 hours since I started around 8. You can get in, and didn't get tickets because it's sold out. So yeah, I got to go back again for the the registration. The open registration is what it's called. So pretty stupid stuff. I'm actually applying for a press pass as well, so we'll see where that goes too. I've got to get that done by the end of this month. That's my other thing I've got to do. So, but you didn't come here for that. If I'm gonna get some business out of the way first, let some people trickle in. If you like what you see on this, when you go through this whole video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you want to know when I'm gonna be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. And you can also go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com. You can see my schedule up there. It's also mirrored on my Facebook page. And I only put it up once a week because I don't know how the week's going to go. So that's the only reason why I do once every week, doing the update on that. I also have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. That will be set up at the end of this year. There's also a Facebook group out there too, so you guys can post stuff to it, and of course, talk amongst yourselves on that one. Yeah, it wasn't really a great way to start a Saturday, is to sit in a virtual line. And the thing is, I can't do any other work because you don't know when you're going to get popped into the other room. So it's not like I can, do stuff for this podcast. I actually had to sit there and wait on that. It was a lot of fun. Caleb Richardson says, that's why I wait for New York Comic-Con tickets. It's a smaller event, so I'm more likely to get in. I was able to get into the Orville Season 3 panel. Yeah. Yeah, Caleb, that's the way WonderCon used to be too, when it was up in San Francisco. Now it's in Anaheim. I mean, quite honestly, I can go to the Anaheim one and, get in fairly easily a week beforehand, but it's not the same. It's not the same as it was in San Francisco. And yeah, I am literally a trolley ride away from Comic-Con. So it's not like I'm not going to go. Yeah. But that's again not what you're here to hear about. I'm gonna let some more people trickle in, like I said. So the first 2 episodes of the newly animated Blade of the Immortal is up on Amazon Prime. Now you're probably going, "What the fuck is Blade of the Immortal?" For those of you who are in the know, it's an old manga series that was animated back in the 80s or 90s. I can't remember which one it was. And they've done a new animation on it now. Same story, new animation, and it's just as gory and disgusting as the previous one. And so the first 2 episodes are up there. And it depends, Stanley, if you're a fan of really gory animation set in feudal Japan, then yeah, it might be worth your time. I like it. That was one of the first manga comics I was introduced to a long time ago, and then the animation was really good. So I dig the storyline on it, and yeah. So yeah, it's up there if you guys are interested in it. Excuse me. So there's only 3 people. There's probably some lurkers in here, right? There's got to be some lurkers in here. So all right, I'm gonna get to the main story, just because it's been pissing me off lately. There's been a lot of celebrity attacks on comic book movies lately. And mainly it's a lot of sour grapes and pissing contests and things like that. And Martin Scorsese, he's the producer of Joker, if you remember, which is basically just to remake another one of his movies, but with clown paint on it. And he was saying that Marvel or comic book movies are not cinema. That's what he puts. It's like, okay, so gangster movies are cinema because you've been remaking the same goddamn gangster movie for the last 40 years, man. So, and I'm a fan of Martin Scorsese, but damn, man, you keep making the same movie over and over again. Everyone notices this. That's why we kind of wait till it comes out on DVD or video on demand or something like that, and then we watch it then, because we know it's going to be Casino. It's going to be, what else is there besides Casino that he keeps remaking over and over again? Oh yeah, Bringing Out the Dead. That was a gem of a movie with Nicolas Cage. I remember seeing that piece of shit in the theater. Why I didn't walk out, I don't know why. So the latest one is Jennifer Aniston, saying that, as she put it, comic book movies are more of a theme park than they are movies. And why don't we get back to the old 80s kind of movies, like all the Meg Ryan rom-com movies and shit like that. It's like, there's a reason why those kind of died out, Jennifer, is because they sucked. They sucked then, they suck now. So people don't want to see those. They want to see something big, especially if they're going to pay 18, 19, 20, $25 for a 3D movie. Yeah, and by the way, Jennifer, what's the movie that's coming out right now with you in it? Is it the one with Adam Sandler? That's right. It's an Adam Sandler movie. No one in their fucking right mind wants to pay for that. I'm sorry. No one does. And yeah, she is actually envious. That was the other thing too, Stanley, is she even mentions that she's not getting called for those kind of movies. And there's a reason why she's not getting called for those kind of movies, is because she's not talented. I was trying to think of a movie, like a classic movie that she was in, and something that stands the test of time. Okay, she's in Office Space. Office Space isn't good because of her. It's actually good because of the story. Iron Giant, she did one of the voice works for that, but she didn't act in it. She just did, well, she did voice acting. There we go. That was the only classic I could see when I was going through her filmography. And yes, it's a very elitist attitude. It really is. Yeah, Marty has a point, because he's got a movie that is out that he's trying to make money off of. He basically redid or I should say, he greenlit a movie that was Taxi Driver meets King of Comedy, and put some Joker paint on it, is what it did. That's all Marty did, is he's trying to hype his movie. Is Friends her greatest work? Probably, Stanley, if you're a fan of that. I'm not. Friends was pretty god awful. And yeah, Meg Ryan is a treasure. Jennifer Aniston is no Meg Ryan. I'm gonna say it right now. And look at Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie is only I believe 4 years younger than or 6 years younger, excuse me, than Jennifer Aniston, and she's in a Marvel movie. She's in Marvel's The Eternals that's going to be coming out. So it's not because of your age, it's because of your acting ability, is what it is. Yeah. And I'm sorry, Miss Aniston, but you don't have the acting ability. You're fine in a comedy like We're the Millers or something like that, which is entirely forgettable. And I'm not going to go and pay money in the theater to go, okay, I did pay money to go and see We're the Millers in the theater, but I went with friends. So that was something else. But yeah, by myself to go and see it, no, I'm not. I'll wait till it comes out on, I can wait the month and a half before it comes out on DVD or HBO or, you know, video on demand, something like that, and just watch it then, because quite honestly, that's all it's worth. It's not worth 18, 19, 20, $25, whatever it is that, you're paying for a movie ticket now, for a premium price movie ticket. And quite honestly, the movie going experience sucks now too, going to the movies, especially when you have the advancements that we have in home theater systems. I like, as I've said before, 65-inch big screen TV, 7.2 surround sound system. I don't need to leave the house really if I don't want to go and watch something. So she could play Poison Envy very green. Yeah, exactly. And I loved that Samuel Jackson actually spouted back off at Martin Scorsese. Actually, a lot of people did, and said, "You know what? I love Marty. I respect him, but he's wrong." And that is the best way of putting it. Is opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, especially when they have money involved in it too. When they've got skin in the game. And yes, he wants to make comic book money. Is what he wants to make. Comic book movie money, I should say. Not comic book money, because you don't make any money in comic books. You only make it if you get a movie deal. And yeah, Marty does have a lot of Oscars. Doesn't make any difference. So does Cameron. So do a lot of people, and they still make shitty movies. That's neither here nor there, Mr. Roboto. And again, like I said, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. And basically what you should be doing is you should be thankful that these movies are actually bringing people into the theater still and are keeping theaters open so you can actually make your little, Casino Part 18 or The King of Comedy dressed up as a Joker movie, or what is it? The Bounty Hunter Part 15, or whatever shitty Aniston movie that she's making with uh, Adam Sandler now on Netflix, that kind of thing. Avatar 15, exactly. They should be kissing Marvel's ass right now. That these things, Disney's ass, as a matter of fact, that these movies are bringing in billions of dollars to keep theaters open. Because theaters, quite honestly, they don't make money. They don't make money at all. And it's a very one sided industry, especially when it comes to the movies. Um, and right now, again, TV is kicking the shit out of movies. Avatar 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, TV shows are kicking the shit out of movies right now, especially in quality and acting and directing and special effects, even things like that. Um, yeah, shut the fuck up, Marty. Just be thankful that you actually still can show movies in the movie theater, that their movie theater is still around that will show your movies. Because I can guarantee you in the next 15 years or so, it's probably going to be a lot worse off. Yeah, I don't see a future for cinemas either, quite honestly, Stanley. And they're going to have to start marketing straight to home, is what they're going to do. And quite honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to pay $15, $20 to go, to see it at home in the streaming. I'll pay $5, $8 maybe at the most. But that's it right there. Yeah, the 3D experience is bullshit, Mr. Roboto. Cameron was trying to peddle that bullshit back with Avatar, the first Avatar movie. And quite honestly, the 3D experience is just that bullshit. It's hogwash. If you have any kind of action in a 3D movie, it immediately wipes out the 3D experience. So you pretty much can't have any action whatsoever in that. But we don't all have cinema-sized TV screens. That's true, Penn. We don't. But a lot of people aren't watching them on those kind of TV screens anyway. A lot of people are watching them on their phones, on their tablets, things like that. And yeah, it's not, that's the way, that's how things are going. Unfortunately, very much mobile in that experience. We also have virtual reality headsets where people are actually putting these things on, and they have what looks like a theater. They literally have this now where it's a theater setting inside your, so it looks like you're sitting inside a movie theater watching the movie while you have this headset on. So there's that as well. So if you don't have a big screen TV, you can shell out the money that you use for a phone anyway for a 3D headset. and do it that way. So who added to the experience, Mr. Roboto? Cameron? My last TV had 3D, the new one doesn't. Yeah, I don't have 3D either on mine because there's not a lot of TVs out there that have 3D anymore because it was a flash in the pan. No one cares about that. Flucky Vacuumage says these Hollywood people have had their ass kissed for too long. They have no idea what the average person wants. Exactly. Pen Farm Girl says those headsets were such a craze for Christmas a few years ago. The uproar seems to have really died down. It's coming back again, Pen. So the video game industry is really, really pushing it. Don't be surprised if you don't see it pop back up again with the PS5 coming out and the new Xbox. I can't remember what the new Xbox is called. They're probably going to be going that way again. I know that there's also been push from Microsoft to try and do visorless kind of immersive experiences, and that's not working all that well. So it's it's going to go back to the headsets. So what it's going to do. Yeah, as soon as the headsets are totally wireless, it will totally take off. I agree with you, Stanley. As soon as they can hold their own, and also they don't need to draw from a computer. Yeah. Yeah. There you go on that one. So my rant is over with now. Excuse me. There we are. So a new rumor came about. Tom Ellis, who plays Lucifer, of course, on the now canceled TV show on Netflix, is supposedly been spotted playing Lucifer Morningstar in the Crisis crossover event for CW. Yeah. So he's been spotted on set in Vancouver, dressed up as Lucifer Morningstar. How they're doing that crossover, I have no idea. All I know is this cast is getting goddamn ridiculous. I like it, but at the same time, I never watched Lucifer either, to tell you the truth. But it makes sense with Constantine and stuff like that. You can have him, contacting Lucifer or something like that, and you have Tom Ellis come in for a brief little, snarky comment or snarky repartee with Constantine, and then he disappears. Everyone calls their ex Lucifer Morks. He's so great as Lucifer, even no connection to the comics. Yeah. Well, I honestly never read the comics, and I never watched the show, so I couldn't tell you. They should take a page from that book for the Swamp Thing movie. Yeah, they should. It'd be kind of funny is if they actually just brought in Swamp Thing just for a little cameo in the Crisis crossover. Considering the suit's still out there, that kind of thing. So if you're listening, CW, I don't know, maybe want to get in contact with those people and just say, hey, or the Blue Devil. Yeah. This event that they're doing is going to be huge. It's going to be a huge thing. I'm hoping it just doesn't stall out. They sometimes do that. They start off really, really well and they stall out. Start off really, really well and they stall out. So I'm hoping they have a plan as to how this Crisis event is going to unfold and end. So we'll see. So the other thing about the Crisis event that was going on is Michael Keaton's face will make an appearance on a newspaper as Bruce Wayne in the Crisis crossover. Yeah, so essentially it's there's a newspaper article that says that Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle are getting married, and it's got Michael Keaton's face on there, a young Michael Keaton from back when he was doing Batman Returns. And so yes, he will be in that as well, just his face. I made a joke about it that it's going to be a de-aged Michael Keaton, and it was just really his photo because it was, de-aged. Who is Selena Kyle? It's Michelle Pfeiffer, of course. So Batwoman is connected to the Tim Burton movies. It could be a different universe or a different world. Stanley Tweedle, we don't know for sure. Remember, it's Crisis on Infinite Earths. So if it's Crisis on Infinite Earths, that could be one of them. They are not using her face too. They just had his face on it. If you go back to my Facebook page and take a look, I've got a link to the tweet, and it's got a picture of the newspaper that they were using. Yeah. So interesting, but there we go. So another thing was kind of interesting is that Sony is making their Masters of the Universe movie. Well, they might be moving that over to Netflix, so it's just released solely, released in limited release in theaters, but then released on Netflix a couple days later, and it'll be a Netflix exclusive, essentially because they want Netflix to finance it. They don't want to finance it themselves. They don't have any confidence in this thing, and I can see why. I keep seeing the guy who's supposed to be playing He-Man, and I'm wondering if they're gonna put him in a bodysuit or something like that, because he looks awfully skinny and does not look like he can bulk up at all. Plus, he also is brunette instead of blonde, and I don't think he would look very good as a blonde. Yeah, another plastic toy movie. I actually saw Gem and the Holograms last night. It was on cable. Speaking of plastic toy movies, and it wasn't half bad for finding it on cable late at night kind of thing, and you're like, oh, I'll take a look at it, and I was like, all right, it's actually not bad. It played like an 80s movie, although the lead girl, strangely enough, acted a lot like Kristen Stewart, which is very odd. Yeah. You were forced to watch Gem and the Holograms, or that's right, you are forced to watch that. And I take it you loved it, right? Oh, you were forced to watch Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans. Marks. Yeah, forced to watch it. Yeah. Oh, I know, Viking Mitch. I know that Marks has girl children, so he's forced to watch that. Forced is what he says, and I use that with air quotes that I didn't just use, but yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit stuffed up there from what it sounds like. I don't know why. Oh, so Apple TV Plus is in the news again. Obviously, their lineup really sucks. So, what they've done is they've thrown money at Spielberg and Tom Hanks to do a series called Masters of the Air. So, what is Masters of the Air? It's exactly like Band of Brothers, but it's focusing on the Air Force now in World War II. So, these guys, the pilots of World War II. And that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be producing this series. And I'm like, all right. Yeah, I'm still not going to go and watch it because, Band of Brothers was good, but it took me like a couple of years before I actually saw it. And I started watching on reruns on, I think it was on network TV, as a matter of fact. And that's when I watched it, and I was like, oh, that's all right. That's great. I didn't need HBO for it. Yeah. So, those girl children will tie you to a chair and force you to watch. That's right. Yeah, I am forced to watch Supergirl because I am Stanley. I'm forced to watch all Batwoman, Supergirl, Black Lightning. The Flash is actually a joy, but yeah, Apple TV is not worth the money. Quite honestly, I'm looking at that, and it's just horrible. I agreed. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. No way, I'm watching Supergirl. You can watch Supergirl more because it's not that bad. Yeah. Mr. Roboto, go back to the beginning of the video here, and they'll fill you in on Comic-Con. So Supergirl has its show value. Yeah, it gets into their murky, their very gray politics, I guess you could say. And they really don't do any hard-hitting politics at all. They kind of mention something for a second. They're like, okay, we're done with that. and they go off and do whatever they're gonna do superhero wise. Whereas Black Lightning, on the other hand, just kind of delves straight into it and just keeps going. And I'm like, dude, are you gonna do any superhero stuff? Because that's kind of what I'm here for. I get it. I get it. There's a lot of political shit out there. I understand. I just don't want it in my superhero shows. I really don't. I did try to watch Supergirl. I was looking forward to it, but the dialogue, yeah, I know the dialogue's horrible. Viking bitch. I'm See, I got through season 1 of Titans, so I'm pretty much immune to anything now, and that's Akiva Goldsman's writing, which is really horrible. It's worse than CW dialogue, so I'm pretty much immune to a lot of things. I really laughed at the blue sun, deadly the people with Y chromosomes. Yeah. I'm immune to a lot of things, Viking bitch. It's exposure to a lot of different shit that makes me immune to it now. He didn't get the Mr. Roboto spoilers. Yeah. Legend of Tomorrow and Flash are still my favorite CW shows, but I'm behind. Yeah. So Flash, this last season kind of sucked. I'm going to say it right out loud. I mean, they spent way too much time on Nora. I mean, way too much time on Nora. And it got to the point where I'm just like, I actually stopped watching because of that. It just kept going on and on and on. And I'm like, you guys forgot how to have fun. And then I saw the season premiere of Flash for season 6, and it's like they were able to have fun again. And that's what I wanted. I want them to have fun in this. Legend of Tomorrow has embraced the absurdity of everything. And that's why I love Legends of Tomorrow. It's just absurd. I mean, what is it? Bebo? The and Iris? Yeah, I know Iris needs to go. I'm sorry. She kind of needs to get killed off. Actually, pretty much most of the West family, I think, needs to go. Because that's kind of what drags it down. I'm sorry. So Flash got stuck in an apartment in New Orleans? No. They got stuck in a time loop is what happened. Just kept repeating the same shit over and over and over again. Yeah. But, yeah. I'll make an exception for the crisis, but other than that, I'm done with that shit. Yeah. I don't blame you, Stanley. I really don't blame you. So, Maniac Cop is being rebooted as a TV series on HBO by Nicholas Winding Refn. Refn? R-E-F-N. I don't know how you pronounce that Norwegian name. For those of you not familiar with Nicholas Winding Refn, he makes these movies that seem like they're going to be good when you're reading the synopsis of it. Then you're watching it and you're like, what the fuck am I watching? And you're like, well, maybe it's going to get better. Maybe it's going to get better. And you keep watching, and you're like, oh, what's going on here? Why is this? Why does it seem like we haven't moved forward at all? And why does it just seem like everything's just long, drawn out bullshit? And why is it? Oh, it's the end. And then you get to the end and you're like, oh, why did I watch this entire fucking thing? Well, he's the one who's actually doing the reboot of Maniac Cop. So, yeah, I am not looking forward to that at all. Yeah. Too Old to Die Young was like watching paint dry. I can imagine, Stanley. What was it? I saw the one with it was the Viking one. I can't remember what the name of it was. I tried blocking it out of my head. With a really good actor as the lead too, and it's just fucking boring. It's him walking in the wilderness half naked, cold most of the time, and he kind of comes in contact with a couple of people here and there in the 3 hour, I think, time span that happens. And I got to the end of that one and I'm like, why did I watch the entire thing? Why did I torture myself with that one? But yeah, so he is doing Maniac Cop for HBO and rebooting it, and it's supposed to be set in LA, and they don't know if the cop is actually alive or if he's a supernatural entity or whatnot. And it's like, it's gonna be pretty lame, I'm pretty sure. Nope, never gonna get a booth, Mr. Roboto. That's a stupid thing to do at Comic-Con. If you want to be trapped all day in a booth and not see anything at all, that's the best way of doing it. You just get a booth and you get stuck there. If I was selling wares, that kind of thing, like if I was selling comics and T-shirts and things like that, then sure. And I also had a bunch of people that I was employing as well. Sure, I would do it, but no, I'm not going to spend, what is it, $5,000 for a booth for a couple of days. Well, actually, I take that back. It's $2,000 for a booth for that 4-day, 5-day period. It's just not worth it, quite honestly. Then you have to bring everything in, and yeah, it's just ridiculous. In the last episode of Too Old to Die Young, a woman jerks herself off while listening to masturbation instructions. Nice. Yeah, that pretty much does sound like a metaphor for the whole show. Well, yeah, I won't be seeing that one. They can, yeah, I will definitely not be seeing that one. So New York City Comic-Con was last week, and there was a bunch of trailers that came out. So we had, The Expanse that came out, of course. The trailer for that one came out. I wasn't too wowed by it, to tell you the truth. I'm looking at that trailer and I'm just like, okay, this is supposed to get me interested in seeing a show that hasn't been on the air in a year and a half now for season 4. And I'm not really, I'm like, okay, but I wasn't really getting into it. Then it kind of gets worse from there. We had the trailer for Picard, which is coming out on January 23rd on a paywall, CBS All Access. And essentially what it looked like was Picard's going on an adventure, is what's going on. And he's bringing along everybody he can find. So Data, he's bringing along, 7 of 9. He's bringing along, what's-his-face, Riker. He's bringing along Troy. He's bringing along the dog. He's bringing along a bottle of wine. He's bringing along a lightsaber. Oh, wait, sorry, that's the wrong series. And I was like, okay, that's nice that you're throwing in all these cameos into the trailer, but what the fuck is it about? Is it going to, are you actually going to be doing something? All you do is you mention something cryptic about having to go back out there to go and find something or whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, man. I honestly lost interest in the trailer about 5 seconds into it. And yeah, I am not the demographic, of course, for that one. Stanley Tweedle says the new short tracks are again very bad. No improvement here. There are no hope for the showrunner. Well, Akiva Goldsman is writing the scripts for Picard, so you get to get season 1 Titans dialogue all over again. Enjoy if you guys are Star Trek fans and are paying for that shit. So Booney Maz says, well, this is The Expanse first time not airing on Sci-Fi Channel, right? Was it Amazon or Netflix that is so it is Amazon that is going to be airing the next season. Booney Maz. And yes, they're dumping it all at once. So they're not doing it episode by episode. They're dumping it all at once, which again is a huge mistake. As I've said before, if you dump everything all at once of a series, yeah, people are going to binge it and they're going to talk about it for a second and then they're going to lose interest on it. And you're not going to get people talking about it over a period of time. And then you're going to lose interest in the next season and the next season. Kind of like there's a series called Lost in Space. Do you remember that? That it came out last year? Well, guess what? Season 2 is coming out December 24th. It's coming out Christmas Eve. I really liked the first season, but I forgot that it had come out, to tell you the truth. And then I see the trailer for it, for New York City Comic Con's trailer, and I was like, holy shit, that's right. They had greenlit that. I forgot all about it. And it's coming out December 24th. And that one I'm actually really excited about because I want to see what happened to Will. I want to see what happened to the robot. You know, and this is kind of what I want to see in my sci-fi. Yeah, I know it's coming out on December 24th and no one seems to care about it. Exactly, Penn. And that actually to me is more sci-fi than the Star Trek crap that's coming out. Hey, Dante, yes. I already requested 2 days off when the Expanse releases. I'm watching it all in one sitting. Yeah, I honestly, I'm going to cover it, but I'm not watching it all in one sitting. Yeah. Yeah, I want more Parker Posey. Yes, originally it started off pretty shitty, and then it got better by like the third episode. It got really good. So yeah, stupid but entertaining. Yeah. And speaking of stupid and not entertaining, Star Trek Discovery. They had the trailer for that one as well, which is coming out sometime in 2020. All I know is that they threw together a whole bunch of clips of what's happening, and I guess they've been shunted into the future, like far future, where the Federation is no longer even remembered really, except by a small group of people, and they have to restart the Federation. I'm like, my God. Yeah. I only watched the first episode of STD, Viking Bitch, and I think I lost a portion of my brain because of it. Hey, Ejar. Yeah. Definitely looking forward to Lost in Space, though. That's one thing. Lost in the future. Lost in the future. Welcome to the world of tomorrow. Sorry, that's one of my favorite Futurama lines. Dante, STD season 1 wasn't that bad, but certain people trashed it day in, day out. Just turned me off to that. Yeah, that's why I'm not going to be covering it, Dante S. I figured, you know, there's already a couple of channels that have built their viewership on it, and that's where they're going to stay with it. And I don't need those kind of people, quite honestly, either. If I really want to do that, I can just, you know, review Rick and Morty and end up having a whole bunch of assholes just like that being in there, even if I'm positive about it. Well, you just don't understand it, and you didn't understand this, and I'm getting that with Mr. Robot right now. People tell me that I don't understand things. And it's like, well, okay, if I don't understand things, start your own goddamn channel, man. Seriously, start your channel. Give me a link to it so I can go in and I can come into your chat as well. Because I'll be very fair and balanced about it. Yeah. Dante S. Yes, I unsub from people that bash shows all day. I don't like negativity. I understand. Yeah. That's why I try not to do it. I delve into the negativity every now and then, but I dip a toe in, is what I do. I'll have a little bit of a rant for a second, then I'll come back again. And I'll go back and forth. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to build rhythm, right? And speaking of Rick and Morty, November 10th, season 4 of Rick and Morty premieres. But there's only 5 episodes this year. That's it. 5 episodes. And I think there's another 5 episodes next year, and that's it. Because they are actually working with a set schedule now, is what Roland said. Yep. I have watched things drunk many a time, Mr. Roboto. As a matter of fact, I've done some of these shows drunk. I might be drunk right now. You never know. But I'm not. Why are you watching, Dennis, if you don't like negativity? That's a trick question, Stanley Tweedle, and I'm not answering. Rick and Morty is trying to outschedule Venture Brothers. Thanks, Helpful Crow. Venture Brothers actually does have a schedule, but it's only 2 guys that are working on it. They don't have a writer's room full of people. They literally work with 2 guys writing those scripts. Whereas Rick and Morty has an entire room full of people writing those scripts. Yeah. And then those 2 guys actually, block out the scenes and all that stuff of what they want to do. And they have a team that works on that, but still, they block out the scenes of what they want to do. They send it off to Asia where it gets animated. They get the dailies coming in. They're like, well, that doesn't work. They take that out. They edit those scenes. So they actually spend some time crafting it. I'm not going to say that Rick and Morty doesn't spend time crafting it. They just have a bigger group of people. Thank you, Stanley. That's exactly it. I only tell you what I see, and I'm not making shit up to get you to click on things. Yeah, I understand, Booty Moss. Yeah, sometimes you need a vent, and you need to get it out there, and because to hold it in is bad. You learn that early on in school. Holding it in is bad. Rick and Morty is like Legends. It's all right as they deal with the multiverse. No, I like some of their stuff they do with the family as well. Quite honestly, and you can deal with family issues in a good way. They do a good job of it. Yeah, I should show Pepper more. She's asleep. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a shit really about this. Yeah. I've never watched Rick and Morty. Too many other shows. Stop. I know. Welcome to my world, Pen. Yeah, that's why I sit there and I'm watching something. I'm like, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. And that's the weird thing about doing this kind of stuff. Even though I'm self-imposed in this, it's self-imposed really doing this channel. But I watch some shit and I go, okay, will that be good for the podcast? And I have to shake my head for a second. I'm like, no, not gonna do that. Then I have to go back and I have to look at it. I'm like, okay, I have to think about it. Is that gonna actually work or not? Is it something I can cover? Is it something I can cover for more than 10 minutes? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, Viking bitch, you're probably not as jaded as the rest of us for Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty comes from a very dark place. A very dark place. I actually kind of worry about the creator of the show. I know he's an alcoholic and he's a drug addict as well. You can totally tell that in his writing, but I believe he's a little bit suicidal as well because you see that in Rick and Morty. I'm fairly sure he thinks of himself as Rick. You finally watched Taboo. Nice, Apple Crow. Yes, it's a great show, and I'm hoping there's a season 2 to that thing as well. The belching and vomiting is only a superficial thing, Viking bitch. It's the rest of the message as you go through those. Harmon also worked on Community. Yeah, exactly. I didn't get it until I watched it either. Yeah, it's an acquired taste. That's all I can say. You either like it or you don't. There's no right or wrong to it. Yeah, and just because people don't like it doesn't mean they don't get it or they're too stupid or anything like that. That's bullshit. That's just hate talk right there. You might as well just, yeah. Anyway, we're veering into SBO territory last night. Yeah, exactly. We were veering into SBO territory. We were near the end there. It kind of went off the rails when I was talking about Titans, and then I went bleh, off of Titans. What about Rick and Morty gives you that impression, Dennis, that there is nothing self-destruct? Yeah, nothing at all, except you have the main character, actually set up to do suicide in one of the episodes and then botches it because he's too drunk. Yeah. You were on a roll? Did you get hired for something, Viking bitch? Oh, roll. Oh, see what I did there. Yeah, just being an asshole, that's all. Oh yeah, Foster Brooks. I remember Foster Brooks, Ejar. I didn't realize that was a tribute to Foster Brooks. That's and I'm old enough to get that shit, and that's the whole thing. You welcome, Viking bitch. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to point out typos. Hopefully you're staying warm out there too. What was that? How long have I been on for? Yeah, I have been on for 46 minutes and 57, 58, 59. It's 47. Oh. It bounced back and forth there for a second. That was kind of weird. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, this is actually kind of fun. So last night's episode of Titans was a cliffhanger. It was the resolving of a cliffhanger, shall I say. The week before, we had Jason Todd falling to his death from a 50-story building. And this week we had Connor Kent, who of course is Superboy. So we had his entire story. This last week, DC Universe, what they did was, because Jason Todd was falling to his death, they had a poll online, and this is a POLL that they had going on. I'm sorry, Becky bitch, but it just brought it back again. It was pretty funny. For Jason Todd, whether he lives or dies, and you can go in once a day and you can vote whether yes he's alive or no he's dead. And if those of you who are old enough to remember, Jason Todd, when he died in the comics, A Death in the Family, the I should say the issue where he gets beaten to death or gets beaten by a crowbar by the Joker, the very end of it had two 900 numbers, because 900 numbers were big at the time, and you called into the 900 number at $1.99 a minute to vote yes or no that Jason lives or Jason dies. That was the joke, was that they were kind of calling back to that. And I thought that was pretty fucking funny that they did that. That's the kind of stuff I want to see from my streaming service that's interactive. And we already knew he wasn't going to die. I mean, spoiler alert. They had already filmed. They finished filming season 2 last week, I think it was, or they were finishing it up. So we already knew where it was. Yeah. If you want him to die, turn to page 20. Let's not choose your own adventure, Ejar. Yeah, it was, so I thought that was actually pretty damn funny that they did that. And again, like I said, that's what I want for my streaming service, to kind of be a little bit more interactive, and realize that, yes, not only am I watching your shit online, but you also have your comics that I can watch too, and then also you have little interactive stuff here and there. Penn says, I still say DC streaming has been a wonderful surprise. I'm glad I caved into peer pressure. Do it. Do it. Yeah, I know about that interactive feature Joker, but that's a different kind of interactive. That's a choose your own adventure, is what that was. Yeah. I know they did the interactive thing, the movie interactive. It was choose your own adventure. Yes. So I guess no more Doom Patrol appearance than rather than no, probably not, Mr. Roboto, because their series is actually a shitload better than Titans. It's the top, as far as I'm concerned, of the DC streaming services, DC Universe's streaming service shows. Any Doom Patrol in the Crisis? I don't think so, Stanley. Although who knows? I mean, quite honestly, they're throwing everybody in there. Everyone in the kitchen sink in this thing. So Brandon Routh is coming back. He's playing Superman, and he's also playing, Ray Palmer. And so the Superman that he's playing is Kingdom Come Superman, which is an older Superman that Lois is dead. The Daily Planet's been destroyed, that kind of thing, by the Joker. And the Joker's now dead too, and all that kind of stuff. Well, that Superman that he played, because it's actually his Superman Returns Superman that he was playing. For those of you who didn't know, that Superman Returns character, or Superman, is actually the Christopher Reeves Superman. So yes, it is all tied into the very first Superman movie. The very first, I should say, modern Superman movie. You watched Batwoman last night, Joker? I'm sorry. Yeah. Nice, like pop-up books back in the day. I had Star Wars, yeah. Especially when she knew how far he went for his daughter at the start, and he traded his gift for the unicorn. What the? I don't know what you're talking about, HR. Sorry, you guys must have been talking about something else. I actually love that Cadmus had commercials, Mr. Roboto, and I love that they were very creepy commercials too. They were not at any means soothing at all. They were very, very creepy commercials. And it felt like a pharmaceutical company that's trying to, sell you things. I forget, there was one that had clouds that was always playing, and it was a very creepy commercial. It was a real one, and I can't remember what it was called. All I know is I couldn't believe that someone had actually made it, and they're trying to get you to take their product, even though it caused a whole bunch of things, including anal leakage. You never want to take a pill that causes anal leakage, unless whatever it is that you have is a lot worse than anal leakage. And see, if Movie Fanobi was here right now, he'd be hashtagging anal leakage, which I'm sure that'll be happening later on once he's done with his lunch with his family. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. Yeah. So what else we got going on here? Oh, yeah. Oh, we had a trailer released for Disney's Jungle Cruise, starring The Rock and Emily Blunt. And that comes out on July 24th of next year. So for those of you who don't know, Jungle Cruise is a ride at Disneyland, much like Pirates of the Caribbean, only this one goes through an African safari. It's just as boring as it sounds, quite honestly. The thing that was good about Jungle Cruise is you'd have the skipper jokes, and the skipper jokes are just really bad dad jokes, but set to the jungle theme. And I looked at this movie and I was like, the production quality is really, really good. I mean, it's Disney after all, but I'm not going to go and see that. I'm not paying money to go and see that in the theater. I mean, I will, I'll see it when it comes out on Amazon Prime or something like that. But yeah, I'm definitely not gonna see. Yeah, The Rundown is a good movie. It is one of his better movies, I'll have to admit, Joker. And that was supposed to be the handoff to him as an action star, but Um, he has certain rules in his movies that the ending always has to be a happy ending, that kind of thing, and so he will never be an action star. And also, he started going the kid route too. So, yep, he's done. Yeah, Olestra. That's right. Yeah. Southland Tales. No, I didn't watch Southland Tales, Joe Greer. I have a lot more self respect than that. I heard how bad that was. I wasn't going to subject myself to it. Yeah, they're called wow chips because that's what you say when you're on the toilet. There's wow, I didn't realize it was going to come out that fast. I think they banned those chips because they they cause explosive diarrhea. Yeah, Futurama made a joke about that too, where I think they unearthed something from now times in the year 3000, and it's a bag of chips like that, a bag of Alestra chips, and Bender eats one and he shits out a brick immediately, almost immediately. Yeah. Well, Booney Maz, you need to have the skipper jokes in there, otherwise it doesn't work. That's what it's supposed to be. They're only safe if you ate like 5 or 6 and then stopped. People ate half a bag, and explosive results may vary. Uh, yeah. You're in trouble when your bag of chips comes with an adult diaper or several. And it's a small bag too. It's one of the little personal bags, like the little lunch chip bags. uh, yeah. So, what else I got going on here? Yeah, I'll go with that one. Sure, why not? I'm looking at my list of things of what I've got here. I still got quite a few more things. So there's been a post-apocalyptic drama called The Vault that is in the works at NBC. And what it's supposed to be about is a scientist who is setting up a end of the world kind of vault for the government to speaking of surviving things, and it's supposed to have all the necessary food and equipment and things like that, and people to restart civilization if ever there was a cataclysmic event. So while she's up there stocking this thing, and there's people that she's doing, I guess, a run through with a group of people that are supposed to be invited to this thing, the apocalypse happens and everyone dies and they have to restart civilization. So this is on NBC. So it's NBC, it is sci-fi, and it's NBC. So that means it's going to be preempted repeatedly, moved around, and not promoted at all. And it'll be canceled after its first season, despite if it's good or not. And then you'll have to have a fan, intervention. They'll begrudgingly get a second season, which will falter in the ratings because the same thing will happen, and then it'll get a final movie to wrap everything up. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's NBC's motto right there. Oh, there's a lot of things that should have had another season. Joker. Yeah. First season will be gone after the 4th episode. Well, it is NBC. It can go either way. Don't remind me of Timeless. Yeah, Stanley. I was very disappointed by that. I did like that they brought in I can never remember the actor's name who played Rufus. So he was on Preacher because Eric Kripke and Seth Rogen worked together, of course. And so that's why he was on Preacher. And then he was brought into The Boys because Eric Kripke and Seth Rogen are both on that. And that's what we got there. I can never make money from those predictions, Penn. I really couldn't. Yes, he is on The Boys. He plays Seth, as a matter of fact. The guy who got his dick froze off by Ice Queen or something like that. I can't remember her name is. Yeah. Yeah. Ministry of Time on Netflix. I'm almost finished with it. Never heard of it. There's a lot of things I never heard of on Netflix anyway. And that scare me to actually start them because sometimes, okay, I'm going to say 90% of the time, they're really not great. Yeah. That's right. He was in Better Off Ted. That's the first thing I saw him in, Viking Bitch as well. Yes, he was one of the science geeks. And yeah, I loved him in Better Off Ted. Better Off Ted is such an underrated show. Speaking of another show that just got shit canned by ABC, that was one of those things that really should have been promoted a little bit more because it was really goddamn funny. My favorite episode is still the Jabberwocky episode. And for those of you who don't know what Jabberwocky, so I'll explain it to you very quickly. It's an office setting, is what Better Off Ted is, and the writing was exceptionally good. It's on Netflix, as a matter of fact. Jabberwocky was a product. It's a fake product that they were trying to say where these cost overruns had gone, and so the head of the department and her underling need to come up with a presentation that they're going to give to the company about Jabberwocky. And it's one of the best presentations about nothing I have ever seen. And I've threatened to actually use that at one of my meetings, is to do that presentation. Yeah, it's literally my favorite one. No, I did not watch the V reboot. Joker. I watched a little bit of it and then I was like, yeah, this really sucks. And yes, Mr. Roboto, I did watch Last Man on Earth up until I believe the second season, then I stopped because it just was kind of You don't know Jabberwocky? Well, of course I well, of course I know Jabberwocky. I just want to see if you knew too. That is one of the best things, yeah. If you like Better Off Ted, try Corporate on Comedy Central. So the guy who did Better Off Ted also did God, it's the one with the aliens that have a neighborhood and they've been there for like 40 years, and one of the aliens goes home or something like that, and so there's one house in their community that's vacant that a human family ends up buying and living in, and Jamie Gertz is in it, and it was one of the funniest fucking episodes out there. Mark Hamill is in it as well, and George Takei. They both play aliens, and they both do, yes, a Star Trek and a Star Wars joke against each other and all that stuff. But it's written by the same guy who did Better Off Ted. I believe is it Neighbors? It might be Neighbors. No, Mr. Roboto, I did a review of Bright a long time ago on a different channel, so no, I'm okay. I liked it. It was good. So, Hamlin. You mean Hamill? Joe Greer? I wasn't. Yeah. Okay. Well. Anyway, I digress. Excuse me. God. I digress. And my voice seems like it's giving out on me. So Len Wiseman, the guy who did the Underworld series. Yeah. He is going to direct a movie called The Ballerina, which is set in the John Wick universe. So it's set in the John Wick universe, but the script was actually made for something else. And Lionsgate decided that, yes, they want the script, but they want to set it in the John Wick universe so that they have a female-centric John Wick, if you will. That's the reason why John Wick 3 had a dance recital portion of it. They were trying to tie it in. So John Wick is in the Cloverfield universe? Somewhat, yeah. Except John Wick killed that fucking alien. Kind of, in a way. It is kind of like Red Sparrow as well, which is Black Widow, essentially, is what that is. Yes, they are doing a Bright sequel, by the way, Penn. They're working on it. I don't know when, but they're, yeah. La Femme Nikita. Yeah, it's all those things. Yes. You can go on and on and on about it. I know. I could do a long rant on John Wick 3. I liked it. As a matter of fact, I bought it. Now, the stupid thing about this is, since Lionsgate owns it, Lionsgate is the only motherfuckers on the planet that do not have a don't have a deal with Movies Anywhere. So I can't stream this thing like I normally would through Movies Anywhere in 4K. No, instead, I got to go through Google Play in order to do this, which is a pain in the ass in order to. So, yeah, I might as well just pop the disc in at that point. You know? Whereas Spider-Man Far From Home, I can just stream it in 4K. Yeah. I know. First world problems. Any streaming shows with Elijah Woods? I don't know. Let's see who else we got here. So Eric Olston, who was the showrunner for Daredevil season 3, the season that got canceled, is now going to be the showrunner for Carnival Row season 2, because he and Mark Guggenheim have been working together forever. And now that Mark Guggenheim has been taken off of Carnival Row, I wonder why. Because maybe that first season sucked really bad. Could be. So yeah, they're putting him on it instead. So they're putting Eric in there instead. Who kicks ass better, Atomic Blonde or John Wick? Well, we've only seen one Atomic Blonde. I mean, and also if you know the time frame wise, John Wick is today modern, and she was supposed to be in the 80s, so she'd be too old to kick his ass in that time frame. Unless she kicked his ass as a child and killed him then. Then there you go. See you, Mr. Roboto. I don't think Atomic Blonde was confusing at the end. I thought they did a really good job of it, and I actually liked what they did. I thought that was actually, again, I own that on DVD as well, someplace around here, and I actually really dug that. Yes, McAvoy was a traitor. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm not going to go any further spoilers on it, just in case someone wants to see it, because it's actually got a good storyline to it. Tom Austin has been cast as Damien Hellstrom for the Hulu series of Hellstrom. Yeah, that's right. There's actually been a lot of people that have been cast in this thing. Let's see here. So, what's her name now? Now I'm blanking out. Elizabeth Marvel, who played President Elizabeth Keene on Homeland. She's also been cast in there. She's actually going to play his sister, Victoria Hellstrom. And Paul looks like a keyboard mistake last name, is going to serve as showrunner for it. And of course, Jeff Loeb is executive producing. Yeah. But Tom Austin and Sydney Lemon. Oh, I take that back. Sydney Lemon is going to be the sister, Anna Helmstrom. But Tom Austin plays Damien Hellstrom. There we go. Which I'm kind of surprised is still going on, that this is actually going to series. No, Joker, I don't watch that. Sorry. Yeah. I saw Atomic Blonde in the theater. Is where I saw it. But then again, I was hooked on it. I knew it was from a comic book and all that stuff. So that's what happened. Smokey was the bandit. Thanks, HR. Yeah. The German historic events made Atomic Blonde impossible for you. Stanley Tweedle, why? It was just the background. That's all it was. That was just the background setting. I thought it was fine. But yeah, to each their own. Let's see. So my final thing that I've got going on here is James Wan. James Wan, the guy who did Aquaman and was the Annabelle 1 through 18. He is going to try and remake Dylan Dog into a TV series. Now, for those of you who don't remember what Dylan Dog was, it's a comic book. He's basically like a supernatural detective, if you will, who's got a familiar helper who looks like Groucho Marx. As a matter of fact, his name is Groucho. And was most recently done in a movie by Brandon Routh called Dylan Dog something of Night. I can't remember what it was. It was a bad movie. That's because it was a low budget movie too. Unfortunately. So yeah, he is going to do this as a series, as a TV series. We don't know for who as of yet, but yeah. Am I going to review Barbie Jones or Canon? No, but I am going to review Beretta, HR, and maybe Starsky and Hutch, just for shits and giggles. So Dylan Dog is a dog. No, he's not. Yeah, he kind of has a human familiar. It's a long story. It's actually an old comic. It's been out for like 33 years of this comic, or 30 some odd years, something like that. It's a European comic, and people have been trying to adapt this into live action for quite a long time. Policewoman? Who the hell watches Policewoman? Come on. That Angie Dickinson, my God, she can't act for shit. Penn Farm Girl says, I've seen way worse than Dylan Dog, but I admit I watched it because I felt like I felt sorry for Brandon Routh. Yeah. Cagney and Lacey. Cagney and Lacey, come on. How about Mrs. Columbo while we're at it? Yeah, you know I had that one sitting in my back pocket, huh? Mrs. Columbo with a very young Kate Mulgrew, Captain Janeway. Uh-huh. There you go. That's right. Oh man. I want the Rockford Files theme as my ringtone. You can still do that. There are ways. So that's pretty much all I got for the news. And like I said, it wasn't that great of a news week. It was very, very scattered for news. I want something a little bit more meaty next time. I thought there was going to be some stuff that was going to be coming out, and no, it didn't happen. Mrs. Columbo was actually depicted at some point. Yes, she was. She had her own series, Stanley. Like I said, Kate Mulgrew, I believe it was 2 seasons that they had Mrs. Columbo. Yeah, of course they're making shows for money. They realized that, hey, I believe The Simpsons did it best, where Lisa and Grandpa were both bemoaning that because she was too young, no one listens to her, and because he was too old, no one listens to him. And Homer walks in and goes, I'm a white male from ages 33 to 45. Everyone listens to me. And he opens up the cupboard and he brings out a can of nuts and gum. And it was a throwback to a joke that happened earlier in the episode. And he just throws in handfuls in his mouth of nuts and gum. And that's pretty much how you get your marketing done right then and there. Yeah. No, they did never show her on. They never showed her in Columbo. That's right, Penn. You always heard about her. Columbo would say something about his wife, and one of those, when he was basically telling the villain that he knew everything that they had done, and he'd come back like about 15 times. But yeah, they never showed her, and they never showed him. One more thing. One more thing I forgot about here. Do you know that we found the kitchen knife with your fingerprints on it sticking out of her back? And right underneath the video camera that kind of recorded the entire thing. Well, of course you can never picture them together, Penn. That's because, marketing. Marketing, marketing, marketing. That's the reason why. Excuse me. So if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. If you want to know when I'll be on next, again, hit the bell down below. You can go to the bell settings, get as many or as little notifications as you want. You can also take a look at my schedule on suspendedfanimation.com and take a look at my Facebook page. I've got that up there as well. Let's see what else. I got a Facebook group, so you guys can go in there and post stuff and talk amongst yourselves as well. And I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet because I suck, supposedly. No, I'm going to have it done at the end of this year. Now, if they had gone with Anne Margaret, boom. Exactly. Anne Margrock. For those of you who watch The Simpsons, yes. Ashley Atkinson will be a regular this season on Mr. Robot. Huh? Ashley Atkinson. Who is that? Is she White Rose's second in command, Joe Greer? Because I remember reading something about that. I think she's the one. Wouldn't what share means have no social media? Oh, well. Yeah. Oh, she threatened the mother. Okay. She was Janine, the taxidermist. I'm wondering if she and Bobby Cannavale's character are related, if they're brother and sister. That would actually be pretty damn funny. And also, there was something I missed too in that whole scene where Dom has her gun trained on the plumber. There's a gigantic picture of a white rose that is framed in her mom's bedroom to show you that White Rose is always present and always watching. How fucked up is that Sam Esmail actually thinks to that extremes? And speaking of which, I didn't catch that one, Penn. Someone else did, and there are a lot of people that are catching a lot of different things, like mononucleosis, obviously. So tomorrow is going to be Mr. Robot. That's right, Mr. Robot is on tomorrow. Monday I'm off. Tuesday is another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And it's going to be Primal, the animated series on Adult Swim, the Gennady Tartakovsky animated series. Wednesday I'm off, and then Thursday is going to be Feelings in Hallways. That is my DC CW overview of all the DC CW shows for the week. And then Friday, of course, is Titans, and we wrap it all back around again with Saturday Morning Blast Off, which is back to its normal time, 10:30 a.m. or thereabouts. So, Yeah. Yeah, Joker. I did enjoy Bobby Cannavale at the rib joint last season too. So funny thing at Comic-Con, they had put that whole rib joint together. They did the whole e-coin cards and all that stuff one year at Comic-Con, and I get to eat at the rib joint too. So I waited in line for my card, and I went into the rib joint, and I got a pulled pork sandwich and for free, and a drink and all that stuff. It was actually kind of cool. It was good. It was actually good. They brought it in from Phil's Barbecue. It's a local joint it's a local franchise, I should say, around here. I would never eat from there ever again because I know people that work in some industries, and that's all I can say without putting myself in any kind of legal situation where I could be sued. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Primal is very monosyllabic. Yes. It's supposed to be, Stanley. And that's the whole thing, is he knows how to make a scene where you don't need dialogue. I know, HR. I was surprised as you are. I just woke up and I was at Comic-Con. I didn't realize that that's where I was, but that's what happened. I keep forgetting to tell you guys about it. So, all right. See you, Viking bitch. Go and have that family lunch or something like that with Moof and Nobby out there. And remember to hashtag anal leakage too while you're out there. Yeah. No, I love that they do no word spoken. So that's one of the holy grails, Stanley Tweedle, of animation, is that you can tell a story without having to have any spoken words. If that's one of the things they teach you in animation, is if you can do a story without having any spoken words, any dialogue whatsoever, you've hit the holy grail as to you've hit the right animation sequence, or you've learned how to animate is really what it is. You can learn how to tell a story. Yeah. And that's what I like about it. I'm sorry to blow your mind, EJAR, on that. By the way, did you hear that I went to Comic-Con? Moving pictures, what's next? Women wearing pants? Well, they're certainly not going to be voting. I mean, I kid. Yeah. So, with that said, I should probably let you guys go for the day. Considering it's what is it now? Oh, it's an hour and a half in. It's my normal hour and a half is what I go into anyway. So that human and dinosaurs didn't coexist. How do you know, Stanley? Were you there? You never know. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today on Saturday Morning Blast Off. And again, if you're still on the fence about joining up, you're going to see at the very end here. There's going to be a video that pops up here that is plucked directly from my video library, especially for you. And up here is going to be last night's Titans, right up in here. Yeah. So, with that said, thank you, everybody, for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot, that's right. So don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, Jennifer Aniston may have something to say about it because, she's knowledgeable on everything and she's an excellent actress. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.